Halloween 1978 versus Halloween 2007, which one's better? Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are looking at the original Halloween and putting it up against its remake from 2007. Now going forward guys, I do want to do a few more videos similar enough to this. So if there is two movies that you actually want to see go head to head, whether they be remakes, sequels, or even if they kind of came out in the same era, let me know in the comments down below. First up, we're going to look at Michael Myers. So we're going to go back to the 1978 classic. What I love about the original movie is really there's no reasoning to explain why Michael is the way he is. He is the shape, he's the boogeyman, and there's no actual reason they give for why he kills. He's almost like a grey white shark or an actual boogeyman that just goes from house to house and murders who he wants. Even the opening scene of the movie where he kills his sister, none of that is explained to the audience at all. In my opinion, that makes the character so much more terrifying because there's not really a way you can reason with him or talk him out of certain situations. Whereas if we look at Michael Myers from the remake, he has a huge backstory, a huge kind of childhood trauma that directly explains the reasons he kills. Michael grows up in a broken home, he has a horrible school life, and little by little he turns into the serial killer we all know today. As well as that, when he does become the shape itself, he isn't as stealthy or silent as the original Michael. Instead, he is massively huge, he used brute force throughout the entire movie, and his kills are way too aggressive. I do think giving a backstory to the character, although it was definitely interesting and it was something fresh for the franchise at the time, did still hurt the character. So with that one guys, I'm going to give the first point to Halloween 1978. Next up, we're going to look at the story. So we're going to start this one with Halloween 2007. With this one, we do spend a lot of the first half of the movie with Michael back in his childhood, and I actually prefer that a lot more. I like delving into the psychology of Michael, spending time with Dr. Loomis and Myers while they're at Smith's Grove, and then the second half of the movie we completely change things up. We go back to the original movie and it's almost like a step-by-step remake of that first movie. Because of that, the film at times does feel a bit uneven, that you're getting two films in one. Honestly, I would prefer just to watch Smith's Grove and Michael Myers during that period of his life for the entire film. On the other hand, Halloween 1978 has a very basic story. It's a very linear story and I actually prefer that in the film. I don't think they need to throw a lot of stuff at the audience. It is one basic story and that's what makes the movie work. We spend time with characters we're introduced to at the start of the movie compared to the remake where we really only meet Laurie and her friends halfway through. Because the story is much well structured in the original movie, I'm going to give the second point to that. Next up are the kills, and if we look at Halloween from 1978, there actually aren't a lot of kills in the movie at all. Instead, Michael spends his time stalking characters throughout the film, and even when he does finally kill them, he tends to do it by strangling people or just slicing their throat. There's not a lot of bloodshed in the movie at all. Then again, if you look at Halloween 2007, there is a lot more bloodshed. Michael in that movie, you know, especially when he's grown up, he is brutal and he really goes to town on everyone in Haddonfield. It's a rampage. But what I like about the film is there are a lot of kills and quite a few creative kills as well. Annie's boyfriend in particular, kind of how he's strung up with a pumpkin over his head, is one of my favourite kills in the film. But I will say what I like with the original is just how subtle it is. They don't need to go overboard to get their point across. Even saying that though, I'm going to give that third point to Halloween 2007. Another one to look at is the tone and feel of both movies. If you look at Halloween 2007, it tends to feel at times like a redneck family living in Haddonfield. You can't really relate too much to the characters or even the setting. Whereas if you look at the original movie, you know, it is almost like an all-American neighborhood. You can relate to both the characters but also the town itself. I do prefer that out of both movies. Now I will say with Halloween 2007 it feels more like Halloween. With the original it doesn't look anything like Halloween, so if you're looking at setting and tone, Halloween 2007 gets the point just slightly. Now we talked a lot about characters, so let's delve into it. With Halloween 2007, Laurie Strode is one of the worst characters in the movie in my opinion. I preferred Annie so much more and that immediately just took me out of the movie. I wasn't really hoping she'd survive. I wasn't on her side. If anything, I was rooting for Michael Myers. As well as that, every single person in this movie swears and curses throughout the entire runtime. I get it's a Rob Zombie movie, but at times it just makes no sense. It feels like people are just cursing for the sake of doing a few swear words. When you look at the original movie, particularly Laurie Strode, she's a character you can get behind. She's a smart, intelligent character in the movie, and that's why you want her kind of to outwit the killer. Dr. Loomis as well in the remake isn't as interesting as he is in the original movie. I think a lot of that is Malcolm McDowell was almost imitating Donald Pleasence and just trying to recreate what he'd given us. Whereas Dr. Loomis in the original movie played by Donald Pleasence does a much better job. It's obviously a character that he's kind of creating himself. Now the writing of course does help that, and he has some brilliant scenes in the movie. With the remake, anytime Dr. Loomis has a scene, it's almost an imitation of that original film. So when it comes to characters, I'm also going to give that point to Halloween 1978. The last act of both movies has Michael Myers stalking Laurie Strode and trying to kill her and her friends. When we look at the remake, they actually delve more into the sister storyline that didn't really pop up in the original timeline until the sequel. I didn't mind that. I think at that point everyone knew Laurie Strode was Michael Myers' sister, so I actually liked that they delved into it a little bit more. But just because he doesn't want to hurt her too much in the remake, at times he does and at times he does, it became a little bit confusing, and it also hurt his character. He became this weaker character overall. Whereas in the original movie, he's almost like a great white shark. He is just out to kill. You know, there's no sister storyline in that original movie. He sees a target and he goes straight for it. As well as that, just the ending of both movies. Although I like the remake's ending with Laurie shooting Michael straight in the face, I thought it was quite shocking and surprising. The original ending is iconic. Having Michael disappear and just hearing his breathing and all these different places we'd seen him throughout the movie was a perfect way to end the film. It immediately puts fear into the audience because you don't know where he is or who he's going to strike at next. So when it comes to the last act of the movie, Halloween 1978 is also going to get that point. And to wrap things up, we're going to look at directing. With the original movie, it is a lot more low budget, so they didn't have a lot of shots because of that in a way, but I actually prefer that about the movie. I love those kind of dolly tracks where we're following characters through neighborhoods compared to the remake where, although it is also very well directed, it's also very snappy. Particularly when Michael is attacking people, at times you actually can't make out what he is doing. You pair that with the score of the original movie and it's clear to see which is the better movie. Now guys, this one, it is a bit of a tricky one because it's essentially comparing an original to a remake. Although there are better remakes out there, with this one I do think Halloween 1978 is the better movie overall. That doesn't mean I don't like Halloween 2007. I really appreciate what it did with the story, how it kind of went in a different angle, and I do still enjoy watching it. So guys, if there are two movies you want to see go head to head, as I said at the start guys, let me know in the comments below. Remember guys, if you like, you can of course subscribe to the channel. You can pop on your notification bell just so you don't miss any videos that come out in the meantime. If you want to see more content like this guys, make sure you click the link down below, and I will see you in the next one.